In American English, we often don't fully pronounce the T in words like winter, counter, or wanted because we want quick and easy speech. When we speak quickly, we want words to flow smoothly. Pronouncing a hard T makes extra effort, and so it typically softens into a quick D, like or a soft D per se. Where the T is in the word, we typically when it's between two vowel sounds. Like for the word butter or water, we typically make it into a D vowel sound, right? So instead of making it that sharp T, we'll change it to a D sound like butter or water, right? So when a word that's stressed as well, some words that are stressed are more stressed than others per se. So if the T isn't stressed, it becomes a weaker sound or it can completely disappear. And so in this case, how our language changes because over time, people have found easier ways to say words, and dropping the T has become a habit in most of American English. So in cases like this, where winter can sound like winter, wanted can sound like wanted, or wanted becomes wanted, or painter becomes painted. So I've got about 11 words here that I wanted to review that has the pronunciation where T is pretty much deleted almost per se. So let's get started. We always want to speak smoothly, and instead of saying speaking quickly, it's more fluidly speak. So think of it as having that flow perfected, and ensuring that when you're speaking that there's no stops and gaps, and we just want words to continue to flow. Okay. Number one, enter. You could say enter, or typically it's enter. Please enter quietly before the lecture or risk startling the listeners. I'm going to say that one more time. Please enter quietly before the lecture or risk startling the listeners. Number two, Sacramento. Sacramento or Sacramento. Typically, most people will say Sacramento. Sacramento rarely receives rainfall in late December, but locals still prepare for it. I'm going to repeat that sentence one more time. Sacramento rarely receives rainfall in late December, but locals still prepare for it. Number three, winter or winter. Winter. In winter, the chilly breeze rattles through leafless trees along the riverbank. I'm going to repeat that one more time. In winter, the chilly breeze rattles through leafless trees along the riverbank. Number four, fantasy. Fantasy or fantasy. The thrilling fantasy novel followed a fearless traveler in a perilous journey to a lost realm. I'm going to repeat that one more time. The thrilling fantasy novel followed a fearless traveler on a perilous journey to a lost realm. Number five, this is a name and another pronoun, Toronto or Toronto. Toronto or Toronto. The reliable traveler took a long layover in Toronto before returning to Europe. I'm going to repeat that one more time. The reliable traveler took a long layover in Toronto before returning to Europe. Number 6, painter. Painter or painter. Painter or painter. The painter proudly displayed his colorful portraits of rolling hills and clear rivers. I'm going to repeat that one more time. The painter proudly displayed his colorful portraits of rolling hills and clear rivers. Number 7, splinter. Splinter or splinter. Splinter, splinter. Carefully removing the splinter relieved the throbbing pain of her swollen finger. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Carefully removing the splinter relieved the throbbing pain in her swollen finger. Number 8, counter. Counter or counter. Counter or counter. Counter or counter. The friendly barista placed a caramel latte on the counter for a waiting customer. I'll repeat that one more time. The friendly barista placed a caramel latte on the counter for the waiting customer. Number 9, wanted. Wanted, wanted. Wanted, wanted. He wanted to relax after climbing the rocky trail to the tallest ridge. I'm going to repeat that one more time. He wanted to relax after climbing the rocky trail to the tallest ridge. Number 10, painted. Painted. Painted or painted. Painted, painted. The artist painted a radiant landscape filled with golden fields and rolling hills. The artist painted a radiant landscape filled with golden fields and rolling hills. Last one, haunted or haunted. Haunted, haunted. The haunted library on the hill remained eerily quiet except for the rattling of loose shutters. I'm going to repeat that one more time. The haunted library at the hill remained eerily quiet except for the rattling of loose shutters. I hope that helps. I call them the NT words, but really they're part of the flap T family. Typically with the NT, you'll notice that a lot of it will silence the T. Whatever makes it easier, but as long as we're trying to reduce your accent and to sound more fluid and to help words flow and to help sentences flow more smooth, we typically will reduce this down to just completely cutting out the T almost. I hope this helps.